Deciding on what to post this morning just starts with me waking up. As soon as the sun starts shining into my eyes, I'm up. And then I think of what to eat, and I'm grateful this morning for leftover because if not this, I want that. That's my breakfast. That water you see is leftover water. I just got dressed for work. Don't know designers, so I didn't bother showing you what I was wearing to work. I've tried to lock my cubicle and get going to my regular 8 to 5. I'm just trying to leave my house now. This is me walking to the road. Who doesn't love nature? They said the grass is greener. As you can see, it's greener on my own side of life. I'm walking to the road. I need to walk a distance to the road. It's part of my early morning exercise. I'm on my way to work now. I'm on something, maybe a donkey, I don't know, but this is how I commute to the office. I'm in class doing what I know how to do best. My passion, what makes me get up every morning. Why I started this channel in the first place. I am just doing my thing in my class. To my students, looking bright, handsome, beautiful. I'm going back home. I'm done for the day. Don't mind the weather. It's already 4 p.m. Please, don't get carried away. I'm just home now. Hi everyone, welcome to today's training. The last time we looked at our chapter synopsis and we're trying to get content for our research work. And we said the research work is divided into chapters from chapter 1 to either chapter 5, 6 or 7. And our advice was that you should have a minimum of 5 chapters, maximum of 7. As much as possible, try and make your work not to be verbose. Restrict it as much as you can, but hey, the work is yours. So once you are able to show a level of authority and you own the work, then you can actually make your work 5 chapters or more than 5 chapters, as the case may be. In today's video, we're going to be looking at the content of chapter 1 in details. We know that chapter 1 is our general introduction. So what is contained in the general introduction? Some general introductions have 7 parts, some have 8 parts. In today's video, we're only going to be discussing 4 of those parts, and then in subsequent videos, we'll be looking at the other parts to your chapter 1. The first part of your chapter 1 is the background to your study. Now ask yourself, what is the study about? Do a general overview of the study. What's going on? What made you interested in that research work? So you're just telling us in summary, as briefly as possible, what your study is all about. You're giving us a general idea of what that research work is all about. That is what your background to the study is introducing your readers to your work. So generally, it just tells them what's going on around your work, what has been happening around the particular topic that you want to write about. Sometimes you see a little bit of your research problem in the background to the study, but you don't see it clearly. They just scratch it a bit, but just note that you are just giving us a general overview. So you're summarizing the entire thing that's been going on around what you want to write about. The statement of a problem forms a very, very important part of your research. In fact, you take away the statement of a problem from your research, that research is dead on arrival. The research has no hope of survival. It is no longer a research. It is just news. You are just repeating what has already been said. So your statement of the problem is very, very important to your research work. What should be your statement of the problem? Your statement of the problem should state what is going on presently regarding the particular topic you're interested in researching on that makes you interested in wanting to write about it. So what piqued your interest? Why are you interested? What's going on? What is that thing that you want to fix that is making you want to research on that particular area or topic? So there are three basic questions that your statement of a problem is supposed to address. Number one, it's supposed to address the question of what is happening. So you need to tell us what's going on. For as long and as much as you can, give us historical overview of what is happening. So the first question you should answer is what is happening. The second question that your statement of problem should answer is why is it happening? So you need to give us reasons why what is going on around the topic you want to research on is happening. So you need to tell us why is it happening. And then the third question that your statement of problem is supposed to answer is what can I do to change what is going on? What can I do to improve on the existing state of affairs? So once you have these three things on your mind, you should now be able to couch your statement of a problem in such a way that it explains to us what is going on, why it's going on, and how you intend to better the situation that is already on ground. Having sorted out your statement of a problem, the next thing that you should look at is your aim and objectives of the research. Now, note the words used, aim and objectives, meaning your research work should have a singular aim, and it should have several objectives. What's the aim of your research? What do you want to achieve from your research? Having known what is going on, having understood why it's going on, and what you intend to do to rectify it, what do you intend to achieve from your research? That is your sole aim, your sole purpose of embarking on that research. The next thing that you should consider now, having figured out what your aim is what are your objectives. So the objectives are the ways you intend to achieve the aim or the purpose that you have stated out. So usually if you have 5 objectives to your research, then you need to have 5 research questions. So your objective to the study is a sentence version of your research questions. I'll take that again. The objective of your study is the sentence version of your research question. So your objective should tell us how you intend to solve the problem that is presently in existence from your research. Then, after figuring out your aim and your objective, the next content of your chapter 1 is the scope and limitation of the study. The scope and limitation of the study. What's the scope? To what extent do you want to research? So your scope is usually divided into content scope, coverage scope, subject matter scope, geographical location scope. So to what extent do you want to stretch your research? What time frame are you looking at? What geographical location are you focused on? So this is your scope. As much as possible, try and delimit the scope of your work so that you can manage the data, so that you can manage your research. If you don't properly define the scope of your research, managing it is going to be a problem for you because it will be too broad. You'll be neither here nor there. Everything will be important and be relevant. But if you are able to define what your scope is, then when you get a material or you come in contact with data or information that is not relevant, you know that this is outside the scope of your work. The scope is very, very important. It's important because when you are being examined or when people pick your research, they are able to know if it's a comprehensive research or not based on the scope of your work. So if you've clearly delimited your research work somebody is able to say, okay, this is comprehensive enough, because you stated that you were only going to cover maybe from the period of 2010 to 2012. So it's a 2-year period, and it covered a 2-year period. So if the person feels or knows about anything outside of this period, your work will not be faltered, because it was not in the scope of your research. What's the limitation to the study? Your limitation is just the challenges that you faced in the course of your research. It could be financial limitations, it could be cultural limitations. Maybe people were not able to give you access to information or data that you needed. So whatever limitations at all that you may have faced during your research, these are the things that you should put in this particular part. The reason is that when it's time for you to defend your work, these things are the little things that rescue you from the hands of your examiner. So your examiner is able to forgive, excuse, or understand with your inadequacies if you're able to clearly state the limitations of your study. I hope this has helped us, and like I said, in my next video we'll be looking at the other parts of our chapter 1. We only looked at just 4 parts of our chapter 1. There are other parts to our chapter 1. Our chapter 1 could either have 7 or 8 parts, depending on the kind of research you are embarking on. So we're only going to stop here, and then in my next video we'll look at the other parts of our chapter 1.